Hello and welcome to Reading in Bed Extracts with me, Amanda Steele. I'm one half of the main Reading in Bed podcast team, and I normally start these episodes off by giving you a way that you can help to support us. But this time I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about the book that I'm going to read an extract of. Now, as someone who's had a book that was shortlisted and made the final in an awards, I can really understand how frustrated the author must be with this, because this has had a similar problem. The book I'm going to be reading an extract of today was actually shortlisted in 2 awards and was in The Guardian's Best Nature Books of the Year list, but sadly the sales haven't lived up to that. So if anyone listening is interested in nature, I'd strongly encourage you to go out and buy a copy of the book for yourself, or buy a copy for somebody as a Christmas present, or maybe even buy 2 copies, one for you and one for somebody else. So today's book is called Beyond Spring, Wanderings Through Nature, and it's written by Matthew Oates. It's described as a love letter to nature. It was written as armchair winter reading when we have all forgotten what spring is like, that it will ever come again. The chapters are all short and rich in language, knowledge and love. Each chapter is headed and footed with poetic extracts. It's got glowing endorsements from Brett Westwood, who you might know from Radio 4 and Springwatch, and from Patrick Barkham, who is a nature writer and journalist for The Guardian. And it was one of only 5 nature books shortlisted for the Country Files magazine Country Book of the Year, despite having been turned down by his normal publisher. So here's the extract. A forecast of summer. Sad, too, to think that never again, unless alone, so happy shall I walk, in the rain, when I turn away on its fine stalk. Twilight has fined to gnaw the parsley flower, figures suspended, still and ghostly white, the past hovering as it revisits the light. Edward Thomas, It Rains. Without warning, for none was needed, a day of dull summer weather interceded into the mid-spring riot. Air hung heavy beneath low clouds that glimmered and glowered, offering a calmness seldom experienced outside the deep coma of winter when our world is closed down. The light, or rather lack of light, allowed the meadow to assume, prematurely, the dark green hues of summer, with meadow foxtail and timothy grass stems standing erect, motionless as the first summer raindrops pitted themselves into the dust, left by a few dry, warm springtime days. Yet back at Avebury, in deepest Wiltshire, the sounds were still primarily of spring. Every songbird sang as those early drops fell, and they sang both of spring and of summer, unified. Songthrush silhouetted in the bare ash, chaffinch in a hawthorn unfurling white buds, blackbird up on a thatched rooftop, and a wren entwined somewhere deep within a box hedge. Wood pigeons joined in, prophesying thunder and an apocalyptic ending to the world, and young rooks clamoured in nests high in horse chestnuts and sycamores. The rookeries had changed tune, answering and joining in with the song dream of summer. The swifts were beginning to reel already. The church clock struck 4 in summery somnolence. Summer's insects were joining in too. Cypherid flies hovered above the narrow path leading into the village, beneath late leafing limes and above the cow parsley tops. They were spring species, with names like Cyphus torfus and Epistophe elegans, but they were singing of summer. Spring's common flower bee, a phonetic insect fully deserving of the mouth-filling name of the hairy-footed flower bee, or Anthrophora plumipes, ceased to dash about wantonly and assumed a more summery hum. The bumblebees joined in too, their dronings telling of lazy summer days at pollen and nectar. Only the diurnal, iridescent, long-haired moths along the hawthorn edge were silent, true only to spring. pair of swallows were nesting once more among the dark recess of rafters in the lich-gate of St. James's Church. They would raise perhaps 2 broods here, the first at lilac and laburnum time, now the second within the scabious days of August before summer's leaving, and when spring would be a forgotten dream. Here was their summer home. Swallows may have nested here for a century, as the lich-gate was constructed in 1899, and longer in the church porch. For centuries, perhaps, they became part of the place, integral to its being, even if they are only there for part of the year. All manner of things seemed well within the world. The jackdaws had even stopped stealing thatch from out of the black barn roof, and were sitting around on chimney-tops in contemplative mood, perhaps as witnesses to summer's coming. Summer's shadows were here too. The churchyard yew trees harvested gloom from a darkening sky. Even the whitewashed walls of a thatched cottage seemed ecru-grey. Then the rain began, pattering vertically on umbrellas that paraded their way round the standing menhirs of Avebury Stone Castle. It too sang of summer, being the first of the season. Its meaning was lost on the kindergarten of young. Starlings feeding among the daisies on the cricket-ground outfield where bad light and now rain had stopped play. The starlings had not experienced summer rain before, or even summer. It rained for 2 whole days, steadily. Throughout, the blackbird sang, undefiled. Their spirits would not be dull. The brown-lipped snails took their houses on tour. The summer rain is calling, gentle, constant, almost. A whisper like a steady breeze, through leaves like an elongated exhalation. Nadia Kingsley, Summer Rain. And that's the end of the extract. So if you like the sound of that book, then go and buy it and tune in next time, because we've got lots of fantastic books coming up in the coming weeks. So thanks for listening. Bye!